I work night shifts at a gas station. The same customer comes in every night, but he died 10 years ago. I've been working night shifts at a small gas station just off the interstate for about a year now. It's the kind of place people only stop at if they're desperate. Low lighting, one ancient coffee machine that grinds like a cement mixer, and a fridge that hums loud enough to drown out your thoughts if you stand too close. We're open 24/7, but after midnight, it's usually just me, the fluorescent lights, and a looping playlist of early 2000s rock that the manager refuses to change. It's not a bad gig. Quiet, mostly. Gives me time to think, read, or sometimes just zone out watching moths slam themselves against the windows. But about 6 months ago, I started noticing something strange. A man came in, tall, maybe early 40s, with pale skin and slicked back dark hair. He wore the same outfit every time, black slacks, a tan leather jacket, and a red plaid button-up. He'd always show up around 2:17 a.m., never a minute earlier, never a minute later. He'd buy the same thing, a pack of Camels, a small black coffee, and a king-sized Snickers. He never said much, just nodded politely, placed the items on the counter, paid in exact change, always cash, and left without a word. At first, I thought nothing of it. People are creatures of habit, and I figured he was a night driver on some long-haul route. Maybe a local who worked graveyard shifts like me. But after a couple of weeks, I realized I never saw a car pull in. And I always look. It's habit. When the parking lot's empty and the bell above the door dings, I instinctively glance at the window. But with him? Nothing. Just the ding, and he'd already be inside. I tried asking him one night where he was coming from. Just a friendly, long night. He didn't respond. Just gave me that same slow nod, paid, and walked out. I even followed him once, pretending to take the trash out. He turned the corner of the lot, and when I peeked out, he was gone. No taillights, no footsteps, no nothing. Just stillness and the sound of insects buzzing under the floodlight. At first, I thought maybe I was imagining things. Working nights messes with your head. Sleep deprivation, too much caffeine, long stretches of silence. You start hearing things, seeing things that aren't there. I told myself maybe I just missed his car. Maybe I'd zoned out and didn't hear it. Maybe he parked around the back. But the thing is, our lot doesn't go around the back. The building backs into a wooded patch and a drainage ditch. I tried brushing it off until one night, my coworker Rachel covered for me while I took a sick day. She texted me around 2:30 a.m. with a weird message, "Hey, do we have a regular who comes in looking like a 70s funeral director?" I called her immediately. I hadn't told her about the man yet. She described him exactly, same jacket, same shirt, same routine. But she added one thing I'd never noticed, his reflection. Or lack thereof. She said he walked past the freezer section, and when she glanced up, she realized the glass doors didn't show his reflection. Like a vampire movie or something, she joked, but I could tell she was freaked out. That's when I decided to dig a little. I started asking around during my daytime hours, checked with a couple of locals, regulars, even the guy who delivers milk on Tuesdays. No one recognized the man from my description. Finally, I went down to the local library and asked the clerk if I could look through old newspapers. I told her I was writing a story, just to keep things simple. After a couple of hours flipping through microfiche and yellowed clippings, I found an article from exactly 10 years ago. April 14th. The picture stopped me cold. It was him. Same face, same jacket. The article was about a car accident just outside of town. A man named Richard Holloway had fallen asleep at the wheel after working a long shift at a nearby factory. His car had crashed and caught fire near the edge of the woods, just behind the gas station. The article said his body was burned beyond recognition. Only identified by dental records. I sat there in the library, sweating in my chair, feeling like someone had yanked the floor out from under me. It didn't feel possible. The man who'd been coming in night after night wasn't just similar, he was identical. Down to the scar above his eyebrow, which I'd always assumed was from some childhood accident or bar fight. I printed the article and brought it to work. The next night, I waited, heart pounding, watching the clock tick toward 2:17 a.m. And right on schedule, the bell dinged. There he was. Silent, calm, eyes locked on me as he walked to the counter. I laid the article on the counter before he could set down his items. "Is this you?" I asked, voice shaking. For a second, I thought he'd ignore it like he did everything else. But he paused. Looked at the article. Looked at me. And then he smiled. Just a little. Sad, tired. Not threatening. And he said, his first words in 6 months, "Thanks for remembering." Then he picked up the article, turned, and walked out. I ran to the door. This time, I didn't hesitate. I pushed through and sprinted into the lot. But again, nothing. No sound, no shadow. He was gone. I didn't see him again for a week. Those 7 nights felt longer than the 6 months he'd visited. I kept watching the clock every night, waiting for that bell to ding at 2:17 a.m. Nothing, just the hum of the fridge and my own thoughts looping louder in the silence. I kept replaying what he said, "Thanks for remembering." It was such a simple phrase, but it carried weight I didn't understand yet. Rachel noticed something was off with me. I finally told her everything, about the article, the man, the missing reflection. She didn't laugh. She didn't even look surprised. She told me her grandmother used to say that some souls get stuck when their stories go untold. Like they just need one person to know they existed before they can let go. That night, we lit a small candle outside the back of the building, near the edge of the woods where the crash had happened. I didn't know what else to do. I stood there, holding the article, whispering his name, Richard Holloway, and told him that I remembered him. That someone still knew his story. I know it sounds stupid, but the air felt different. Like a weight lifted off the lot. The insects quieted, and for a moment, the hum of the station went still. The next night, I half expected him to show up again. He didn't. In fact, the bell didn't ring at all at 2:17 a.m. But around 3:30, as I was stocking the gum display, the door creaked open, just barely. I looked up. No one was there. But something was. Sitting in the center of the counter, his usual order. A black coffee, a pack of Camels, and a king-sized Snickers. Paid in exact change. I didn't know what to do. My hands were shaking as I reached out to touch them, half expecting them to vanish. But they were real. Warm. The coffee steamed faintly. The candy wrapper crinkled under my fingers. I checked the cameras. Nothing. Not a blip. Just static that started at exactly 2:17 and ended at 2:19. Every night since then, that same order appears. Sometimes the bell rings, sometimes it doesn't. But it's always there, silent, waiting. And every time, it's paid in exact change. I've stopped questioning it. I don't tell new hires about it. Rachel transferred to a different location a couple of months ago, and the new guy, Connor, thinks I'm just superstitious. I don't blame him. I probably would too, if I hadn't lived it. But here's the part that still keeps me up, even after everything. Last week, while cleaning out the old storeroom in the back, I found a box of forgotten files, old employee records, receipts, outdated training manuals. At the bottom of the box was a faded Polaroid. It showed a group of employees standing in front of the station, arms around each other, laughing. The station looked newer then, fresh paint, working signage. I flipped it over. The names were scrawled in pen. One of them. Richard Holloway. He hadn't just been some traveler. He used to work here. 20 years ago. Suddenly everything made sense, the familiarity with the layout, the way he never seemed confused, even when we rearranged displays. The way he always walked straight to the counter like he belonged. Because he did. I think he just wanted someone to remember him, to acknowledge that he'd existed. That his time here mattered. Maybe that's why he kept coming back, stuck in that same loop, buying the same things he probably once bought on break during long shifts. Maybe that coffee and candy bar were comfort, one last piece of routine he could cling to. I still keep the article in the drawer under the register. Sometimes, when I work alone, I take it out and reread it. I've even started saying goodnight out loud, just in case he's still around. It's weird, I know. But it feels right. Like this place holds something deeper than most people see. We're just a gas station off the highway to most folks. But for some, it's the last stop on the way out. And maybe, just maybe, it's the only place someone like Richard can be seen one last time. One night, about a month after I found that Polaroid, the routine changed again. It was a Thursday. The kind of slow, humid night where the bugs clung to the window screens and not a single car pulled into the lot for over an hour. I was refilling the windshield wiper fluid by the side shelf when the door opened again, soft, no bell. I looked up, expecting the coffee and candy bar. But instead, there was something else. A folded note. Nothing else. No coffee, no cigarettes, no Snickers. Just a single, folded square of paper in the middle of the counter. My chest tightened as I picked it up. It was old, yellowed at the edges and stiff like it had been sealed away for years. On the front, in the same handwriting from the back of the Polaroid, was my name. I swear I hadn't told him my name. I opened it slowly, heart pounding. Inside, it simply said, "Thanks for keeping the place warm. You did good. I can go now." That was it. I didn't know whether to feel relieved or heartbroken. For all the nights I dreaded the sound of that bell, I never thought I'd miss it. But after that note, it stopped for good. No more appearances. No more static on the cameras. No more warm coffee waiting for me. Just silence. The peaceful kind. A kind of stillness that settles when something is finally at rest. I kept the note. Taped it inside the register drawer, right next to the article and the Polaroid. Nobody else touches that drawer but me. It's like my own little shrine to a man I never really knew but somehow grew to care about. Sometimes I wonder if anyone else will show up. Another stuck soul with unfinished business. Maybe that's just what this place is, some kind of stopover for the forgotten. Or maybe it was just Richard. One last loop before he let go. I still work the night shift. People think I'm crazy for staying at this rundown station, especially when I could have transferred out months ago. But I don't want to leave. Not yet. This place, it's changed me. It taught me to pay attention. To the quiet moments. To the people who go unnoticed. And every time I refill the coffee machine at 2:15 a.m., I still catch myself glancing at the door, just in case. Because if he ever comes back, just once, I want to be here to say goodbye. What do you think? Tell us in the comments. Like the video and hit the subscribe button for more Reddit stories.